Hello, my name is Donna Marie, health coach, yogi, and death doula. I'm also the host of the Best Life of Wellbeing podcast, designed to encourage you to focus on your overall well being by stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping into embracing your whole life in order to live fully and die peacefully. Today, I'm not just asking why you love New Orleans. I'm also discussing a book titled I'm Not Your Enemy, The Binary Effect. I'm Not Your Enemy is a book and a movement connected to a beautiful story of self-determination, self-love, reform, faith in the Most High, legacy, and a whole lot more.
1. Diamond.
Talk to me now.
Cruising down the street.
Real slow. What the fellas be yelling?
Morale. Talk to me now.
Cruising down the street.
Real slow. What the fellas be yelling?
Morale.
Yes. Welcome. Troy J. Walker from Marrero. Yes. Activist, poet, entrepreneur, my cousin, my people, fellow Marreroian. That's hard to say.
Yes. That's why we don't say it like that.
I appreciate you being here today to talk about your book. I don't know if we can see it because of my background, but I'm Not Your Enemy. You got it on your shirt. You got it on your mug. I appreciate you representing New Orleans with your fleur-de-lis and your Mardi Gras colors. But we gonna get into this and talk about your book. And I want to hear also not just about the book, why you wrote it, how this came to be, but I want to know exactly what you're doing as an activist to promote what's in the book. So we're going to start off first. I'm going to just read a little bit about who you are, about the author. Troy J. Walker, activist, poet, entrepreneur, dedicated to the liberation of people of color's minds that have been handicapped and oppressed for years through institutionalized racism. You are self-educated. You've overcome the tough streets of New Orleans. You spent 5 years incarcerated, and you were homeless after Hurricane Katrina. There's a little more to read, but I'm gonna stop and let you introduce yourself, or say, I've already introduced you, but to say whatever you'd like to say to start us off.
Thank you. Nice seeing you, cuz. It's been over 30 years.
Yeah.
And, I got to ask you, first of all, how you been? How the family doing? Everybody.
Everybody is good. Thank you. Yes, it's been over 30 years. I'm just reading this, been incarcerated, homeless. You have not aged at all. You look just as amazing today as you did when we were younger in high school 30 years or so ago. How is your family? How's everybody?
Everybody great. Everybody great.
I am very excited to see that you are well, considering what you've been through, especially the incarceration, being homeless after Hurricane Katrina. So why don't we start there? Tell me about the incarceration. Like, how long were you incarcerated? Why? And I know you told me a story about Chuck D. Am I right? Share a bit about that. Yes.
Okay. Well, let me date back a little bit before we even get there, if you don't mind. Because see, I had the dual pleasure of learning both sides of the river as I was growing up. My daddy from the Ninth Ward area, Desire Project, and by me getting that experience will prove to be very, very important later on in my life. But yet, in Marrero, the same way, this binary, me getting both sides of the river, I learned a lot. Like on the other side, the East Bank, in the Ninth Ward, it was a fast tempo type thing where sometimes they didn't respect life. Yeah. In most cases. In Marrero, it was quite different. They respect life. They'll go from the hands anytime, all day. Over there, it's more like a coward move. They'll kill with gun quick, even when I was younger. You know what I mean? So all that taught me a lot. So, but I made some bad choices. So to get back to, my incarceration stuff, because I was raised by some good people, and a lot of people invested a lot of their time into me and believed in me that I would be something one day. But I made some bad choices along the way. And then, like I said, when you add systemic stuff around us that we don't see, that been, you know,
right.
in a playing field. Yeah, they've been planted right there, and you don't see that. So
right.
you got, it's a lot of traps along the way, being Black, living in America. What happened, one night I was out at this club, Discovery, this in '89, and Def Jam did a big concert where they had all the top acts came through New Orleans, and I was sitting out posting, you know, just posting up on my vehicle. So Chuck and his S1Ws came over and he said, "Damn, little brother, man, that's a clean ride you got there." I said, "Oh man, thank you, Chuck. Man, look, I got your music in right now." No, brother, I ain't asked you about my music. I'm talking about this ride right here." I said, "Man, yeah, thank you though." He said, "But then what you do?" I said, "I'm a pharmacist," like that. He said, "Okay, then where you graduated from?" So I put my head down, man. I'm a street pharmacist. And he was like, "Oh man, you poison our people. You're a mule, man. They're using you." And 3 months later, I wound up getting locked up. So me getting locked up at this time, they had, like, after 2 weeks me being incarcerated, they had an Italian. He approached me. At the time, I'm 24 years old. He was about 50. Yeah, he was about 57 at the time, this Italian. His name Johnny Giovanni. But he came to me and he said, "Hey man, I don't know what's happening, little brother. Y'all kill each other for anything, Black people, or nothing. You know, even as an Italian, bro, when we kill, we had orders to kill. And if we kill outside of them orders, man, they'll wipe our whole family out like that." So he said, "Why don't you go ahead and read this book?" So I looked back up at him. I said, "Hold up, man. All these people here, why you come to me?" You know, that wasn't the language I used, but I respect being on air with you. I'm a substitute that. So I said, "All these people here, why you come to me with that?" He said, "Because all these people go and cut a deal with the government at 12 midnight, and you never came out your cell. That's why you," like that. So he got my mind right. So I read the book. The name of that book was The Assassination of John F. Kennedy. But the intriguing part for me, they had stuff about Martin Luther King, some breadcrumbs about his life and his, you know, assassination. And it had some intriguing stuff about Malcolm X. And that kind of gripped me about Malcolm. So at the time, in '89, my mama was attending Tulane University in New Orleans to pursue her degree. So on my phone time, I called home and I asked my mom, I said, "Mom, when you get time, can you send me Malcolm X biography about Alex Haley?" Mm-hmm. So eventually she did it. When she did it, I read it from cover to cover. I knew then I was a different dude. So from that point on, I started planning on how I was going to start living my life. I knew the street game was over. I knew everything that I'm about to do was going to be positive and for our people. Because like I said, when I first got locked up, it's like it hit me like a sack of bricks. I look around, number older, younger, Black people. Like we don't want out here doing crime and make, you know, and where everybody else at. I know they had white dudes I used to sell dope to, sell weed to. Where they at? You know what I mean? So I knew it was an unfair system. But my years in there, I just read and prepared myself. So when I got released, I knew I had to do something. So that was my transformation. But that's way back in '93 when I got home, when I got out, when I got released.
Okay. So I got a question about, you read the autobiography of Malcolm X and you were changed and you started planning your life. What did that plan look like? What were your thoughts and what was your strategy? What was the plan? What was the vision? What were you thinking, writing, and changing about the way you wanted to live your life?
Well, remind you, you know, I was 24 and that's all I knew at that time, is just fast living and doing things in a fast way. So by me slowing down, by sitting in jail and sitting in prison, because, you know, from jail, you go to prison and sitting there, you know, you read, you study, you know, not everybody. Now, some people go there and don't do nothing and come out and do the same things or worse. I didn't want to be one of those guys, you know, so what I did, you know, I just prepared myself in a mental, spiritual capacity best I could. So I started learning more about, all right, the best way to explain that, you know, this gonna get a little deep to people, or some people may catch it, some people may not, but I gotta explain it this way. Metaphorically speaking, let's say like if all right, it's easier to go to Walmart to go get your meat or Winn-Dixie, I don't know, Kroger's, whatever stores y'all have up there, to go get your meat versus you, cause you getting your hunting gear together, getting your gun, go get up 4 or 5 in the morning, go sit in a rack in a tree and wait till a deer to pass. You might be up there 12 hours, might be up there 2 hours, might be up there 20 minutes. But then you kill a deer, then you gotta, get the deer, drain the blood and all that. See, so my point I'm making, truth don't come that easy, like it's told to us. Truth is something you gotta go research. And most people don't want to do that. It's more easier for somebody to tell you, hey, this is true, and you believe it off top. So me being there, it gave me this time to start investigating what the hell going on around me. Why all us sitting in jail like this? Why drugs stay in Black communities? Why we don't want to get locked up? Why we killing each other? All these questions start coming to me. So the questions are, so I wanted answers to them. Now, for any brother that may see this later on, it's not easy making a transition if you've been doing one thing all your life. So let's get that straight. It takes a special person, but you got to have that relationship to God. You got to pray. I don't care what religion you want to believe in or whatever. You're going to have to see God, period. You got to have that relationship for yourself with him. And that's what's one of the main keys for me. I'm sorry, the Most High. You're right. I don't want to put pronouns in there. So let me just say the Most High.
Absolutely.
Let me do it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. So some of what you said is so important and fundamental to everyone in life. You talked about being quiet, getting still, being introspective. You were thinking and asking powerful questions. So important. And in order to be able to do that, you got to be able to sit still. So back to your plan, as you were planning and thinking about moving forward, you were able to sit still, you were able to renew your mind, right? So you were able to transform your mind even, and it took some time, but you had that opportunity to be still. And so you got out in 93?
Yes. Let me touch upon something.
Okay.
Because this is important. This is very important. See, that transformation coming out of jail, coming back to society, is hard. It's very, very difficult. And everybody fell right there. So I want them to understand, don't wait till you get home and plan what you want to do. While you sitting up there, instead of playing dominoes all day, playing cards all day, or whatever else you're doing up there all day, start looking at your life. Okay, you made some mistakes. So how can I rectify this? How can I really, make myself a productive person for myself, for the God that made me, for my family, if the family's still here, because people do die, right? So you may come home and your family already gone. And that's going to be a difficult task, but that's all right. You still here, so you still can do something. I'm living proof of that. So if you got to go live in a shelter, drop your pride. Don't worry about it. That don't mean you're going to stay your rest of life there. You use that stepping stone. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I like to be real with people. And I think as long as you're real with people, people can receive you better. And that's the hardest thing. That's why I had to go back to this. When I got out, I never forget it. My partner, one of my best partners from childhood, him and my little brother, they came pick me up 4 hours away, 4 or 5 hours away. So when I got in the house, went to my mama's room, and the condition of her house was so deplorable to a degree. It's like it was my fault because I happened to be there that day when the feds kicked the door down, and her door still wasn't. She didn't even have a decent door, and this years later. So I'm hurt already when I walk in the house behind this. So when I go in there, my mom was asleep, so I shook her. She woke up. She was so happy to see me. She hugged me, But I'm really devastated because now I know this is the hard part here. How can I get started? What I do to get myself on track, right? But I was patient though. I was patient, and I guess Most High was patient as well. So from there, I just started slowly making little moves, little crawls. Got a job with the little neighborhood people. Then the feds had you on like this. What you call it? I can't even think of the term when you got a work release type stuff. I don't know.
Service?
Yeah, community service. That's
okay.
it. They set you up to fail. But I stayed focused and did what I had to do. So I got that out the way. Then I started making other moves, working at night. You know what I'm saying? Once I can get in, because when you come out of jail, nobody want to take a chance with you. So I got the odd job that nobody wanted, right? So I started working all them little odd jobs. Then I got a little job at the gas station overnight. Nobody want to do that, so I'm doing that.
Right.
So I'm crawling. And finally, years later, I ran across this trade, and I've been doing this trade for 24 years now, electrical trade. So that's what I want to share that, because it's so important to all the brothers and sisters that come from a situation like that. You have to be patient with yourself, even if you got to go to the shelter. I was fortunate my mama still was here, right. But let's say she wasn't here, I would have dropped my pride and went to the shelter and worked my way from there. And I just want them to know, don't worry about what you once had. That ain't about material. It comes and goes. Don't even let the devil, the society play with you like that. Don't do that.
So did you have a support group? Did you, did you do all that on your own? And if you didn't have a support group, did you continue reading books? Like, what did you do to help change your mindset? Because, a lot of people are not that focused, Troy. And so you're very fortunate in that you were focused enough to, one, pay attention to your mom's door. Like, you had the heart. You got to be humble. You were, you weren't just humble, but you were patient, and you were also compassionate with yourself and for your family. Like, a lot of people, like you said, don't have a family. And so what did you do to help change your mind? Because many people come back out here and they're around the same people in the same, environment, and they fall right back into the traps because their mind goes, right, you said they're playing dominoes and doing this and that in jail, so they're not doing anything to change their thinking. And then when they get out, they're around the same people or the same environment. And so what did you do to transform your mind in order for you to see things differently, in order for you to focus on trying to, stick with those jobs and that community service? And what did you do to help inspire yourself or encourage and motivate yourself to stick to that path?
I always been a hustler. I always been a go-getter. I always been a dude gonna make it happen type. I always been that way. It's just I was doing everything the wrong way.
Right.
Because I ain't had nobody really teach me the right way. So, it's like, to me, what I started looking at, like, God himself personally decided to invest into me, right? That's how I seen it. Because Chuck D could have went to anybody that day. It just happened to be me, right? I just happened to get locked up after me and him talk. Right. I just happened to have a Italian 57-year-old come to me out of all the people on the tip, to have this discussion with, to give me a book. That's coincidence, or this God laying these little bricks down so I can, finally get some information I need to help me be a strong Black man. Because, like I say, what's happening, we are being trained to be like killers of each other, killers of our women, killers of our children. We have been trained that way. So I started seeing this early on. So what I did, like I said, I started reading. I wanted to tackle if I had 5 major subjects, let's just hypothetically use that for example. 5 major subjects, all right? Let's look at them. Government, religion, economics, politics, education. All right. Now that's 5 major situations right here that the boards, when you make up the boards of people that's sitting there, who really got your interests across them 5 I just mentioned. See, you got to look at that reality.
Right.
And I was able to start looking at reality on those terms. So that helped me understand a lot of this stuff. So with that being said, it's just, I knew, okay, for me to get a chance, and not only me get a chance, I can inspire others. See, basically, I wasn't just looking at me no more.
Right.
I was looking at, okay, if I change.
That's so key. Go ahead.
If I change, and people that know me, that can inspire them to change. Right. And I was right about it. I'm gonna tell you how. My little brother's come home now. He's been home like 5 or 6 years now, I think. But he did 11 years flat. My little brother. So they had guys. Now how I know this, because he told me himself. They had guys coming back and forth, get locked up, come out here, go get locked up again. And then he'll talk to him and say, damn, man, you just got released. He said, man, it's hard out there. He said, hold up, man. My brother been out there almost 20 years now. And if he can stay out there, anybody can make it out there, right? So that's my inspiration already. It's being already manifested, right?
Right.
So it was working. So what happened now, to get back to Katrina, I was going through a real situation with my first marriage, you know, and if you ever been through that, that's a tough pill to deal with. And everything was like simultaneously going on in 2005 for me. I was going through a bad marriage, but I still had to be there for my son. Now, mind you, I come home in 93, I built a house in 98, 5 years later, working, grinding, all right? But when that fell apart, I could have lost my mind, you know, because I worked so hard to get from here to here, and all of a sudden, I got to start all over again.
Right.
But I kind of like let her keep that. She had my son, I start all over again. So 3 days before my 39th birthday, my daddy died. 3 days before my 39th birthday, he died. That's in May. He died May 6, 2005. My birthday, May 9th. So, and then we already know Katrina came around. See, I was living uptown because I got me a 1-bedroom uptown, like 3 streets from the Calio project. So, and I still was working, but I was going through a lot. So when Katrina, I was going to stay. I was going to stay uptown. And I'm glad, thank God. See, I'm going to show you how God worked. I was going to stay. So I had my son that weekend. So the storm was coming. So I called his mom. I said, I know you watch the news and see the storm about to hit. They projecting it to hit Monday or whatever, but I'm going to stay. My son right there at 7 years old, that boy broke down in tears, hugged me around my legs. I couldn't even pry him off. You know, and I'm a strong man. He's 7 years old. I couldn't even pry him off. So he woke me up right there, like God used him to get to me. So now that would made me pack up my stuff and I left and I went to Georgia. But when we went out there, you know, I wasn't prepared to be out there and I didn't know the devastation. I'm living uptown. So I, you know, lost all my little belongings. And I remember months earlier, I gave a house up because I didn't want to fight behind that. Now my little small apartment, I lost everything. So that put me in a bad situation. But me having this background with electrical, I wound up finding a job and start getting on my feet again.
As you were talking, I was just thinking about you being able to pay attention to little messages, like you call them bricks. And so Chuck D, and then you go into jail, you didn't forget what he had to say. The guy who gave you the book to read, JFK, and you asked why. But you recognize that there were messages from God coming to you. There were opportunities for you to learn. And I believe everybody has those opportunities. Some of us choose to pay attention to them. Some of us choose to blow them off. Some of us get so deep in our sin or our situation, whether it be drugs, whether it be crime, whatever, and we don't recognize it anymore. We are desensitized to that. So I'm very grateful that you were able to see that. And because you were able to see that, you were able to be guided through that. You never forgot that. That was really, really beautiful to me. So then with your book, I read your book from cover to cover. Very well written, very good book. My question though is, how do you implement what you have in this book? You talked about 3 different mindsets in your book. You know, you talked about some other things. And so how do you help people to, or what are you doing rather, like to help people? It's hard. And as you stated, you know, the crime is increasing, particularly on the West Bank of New Orleans.
In New Orleans too. In New Orleans
too, but we're seeing things on the West Bank that we never saw before. Crime is increasing everywhere, but I don't know if it has something to do with COVID. I don't know what it is, but it is increasing at an alarming rate. And I'm not your enemy. Like at the back of your book, what I read earlier, it says, resurrected with the passions of his ancestors, he has been tasked to deliver a strong message to his people and to those who support the systemic destruction of people of color. And so those people are white people, correct? That's what we're talking about here. Absolutely. And so how do you bridge the gap? How do you work with white people to help them see? And how do you help young Black men or young people or Black people, period, to love more, to love better, to hate less, to stop killing? How do you do that? That is such a big, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, it's very complicated. It's very complicated. You can't put your finger on a pulse so simply. So basically, I believe as long as you're real, you're upfront and you're serious about what you're doing, that means the spirit of God is already in you. People will be able to relate to that quicker. Because see, right now, that's what the difficulty is. I'm trying to do this on my own. I don't have the backing of banks. I don't have the backing of corporate America. I don't have the backing of the people that control these mechanisms that are allowing this to be. You got to be more educated about how we're going to do business. And like I say, it's in the music. It's a lot. It's so many different components that bring in this type of destruction. So to answer your question, I'm just trusting God. The message is strong by itself. I'm not your enemy. So just people wearing this and reading about what I got to offer, you can educate others, and more people wear it, that'll bring more awareness to what's going on. And I'm just trusting that be one of the solutions. It's not like a permanent solution, but at least I believe it'll stop the killing. That's what I'm basically trying to do.
It's the first step, yes.
Yeah, I just want to stop the killing.
Yeah. So
if I stop the killing, and I think they have other organizations that can step in and help me. If I stop the killing, they can get these young brothers and some of the young sisters and start re-educating them. I mean, think about it. We grew up, we was able to have a good time in the streets, and never have to worry about gunshots, ever. Time have changed, not because, you got to understand, kids are raising each other. All us start making mistakes, so we had to hustle to get into this money game with these people. They're already underpaid, most of us who do all this labor to keep the country rolling. It's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with. See, that's why I don't want to take credit for anything. I want to give it to God who deserves it, because I could have been dead too. Don't think my life wouldn't ever at jeopardy. I was doing things out there that, I could have got plucked, you know what I mean? But he protected me. So he protected me, and I believe I was born for this reason. That's what I believe, and nobody can take that away. I believe I can make a difference. That's what I'm doing. My ultimate goal is to be independent. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want people to come in and tell me what I can see, what I can't see, because I'm one of the products that really can't. I'm not, no offense to nobody, I'm not one of the dudes who claim to be this. I am this. I actually did these things I said. I'm not, trying to pull a wool over nobody. This is real. And for to see kids out there killing each other, I'm not pleased with that. And they thinking this manhood, I'm not pleased with that. So to answer your question about other organizations, I have no problem with working with people as long as they got the best interests of our children, our people in mind, for real. The see change, not just talking. I'm the realist to get out here to change this. Yeah. That's what I really believe. I really believe that. I can go in them neighborhoods and start getting guns from people. I believe that.
Okay, I believe that too. Because all it requires is for you to believe it. I can see the passion. I hear the conviction. So I believe you can do it too. It's a lot of guns to do by yourself though.
Yeah, but see, that's where God comes in. See, like I told you, it's not about me. He the one who protected me. He the one who gave me these ideas.
I'm very proud of you. That's so awesome. So self-published, written yourself. It's very well written book, very clear, easy to follow, great messaging. Really, this book is a book that really talks about the importance of learning how to love. And so we need that badly in our communities. Well, before we end, I gotta ask you why you love New Orleans, because that's what this is all about. So why do you love New Orleans? I'm not gonna say why do you care about the people in the street, because I don't think it matters where you live. You would care about people living that fast life. So it's not just because it's New Orleans, but why do you specifically love New Orleans?
There is a unique place. It's really a Black city. The culture is phenomenal. It's nothing like it. I mean, the food, the people, and even with the white, I'm talking about the white people that connect to New Orleans. Now, I ain't talking about the racist ones, but the white people that's down to earth. They're so friendly. They're so cool. You know what I mean? There's only time to me that racism don't exist. The people, white people in New Orleans area. That's the only time it really don't exist. They're that down to earth and cool. But there's nothing like this city. It's a beautiful city. It's a unique city. It's nothing but culture. It's a leader. I mean, think about it. I mean, jazz come from New Orleans, the planet. So, and I have traveled. I do electrical work, and I've been in many different states and cities. And even if God blessed me to have millions of dollars, I'm always have my heart right here, and I'm always have a stake right here in this area. Always.
You know, you have 2 sons, and you have your wife. So this part of this work you're doing, whether you want to admit to it or not, is going to be part of your legacy. Part of, when you're no longer here, part of what you leave behind. And so my question to you is, what would you want to be said about you when you're not here anymore?
So I don't worry about what's going to happen when I leave.
Yeah.
Because nobody leaving here with nothing. I don't care who you are. Luther Vandross left here, Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, all these people had a lot of stuff. I just worry about why I'm here, what I have to do, basically. So I ain't got no control of that. I only can do what I can do.
Well, thank you for your time, cousin. I really appreciate it. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad that you are well and that you've grown so much and overcome so much. And I'm glad your family is well and growing and not repeating any cycles, right? So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for this time.
And thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And I believe we had a beautiful discussion. And I think it'll be fruitful to others once they get a chance to listen to it. I think they'll learn a lot from it. And I appreciate it. I'd like to salute y'all. Black love, Black unity, produce Black power. Remember that.